If you're running a nonprofit in California, listen up. There is a hidden compliance trap that can absolutely kill your funding, and you might not even see it coming. Today, we're going to crack the code on the state's surprisingly complicated three-agency system. So let's just dive right in. So picture this. You've spent weeks, maybe even months, crafting the perfect grant proposal. You submit it, you're feeling good, and then you get rejected. And it's not because of your mission or your programs, but because of some obscure compliance issue you had no idea even existed. This is a super common story, and it almost always starts with this one very confusing question. And here it is. This is the heart of the problem. You might see this and think, oh, that must be a mistake. But it's not a glitch in the system. It's actually how the system was designed. In California, you can be in perfect standing with one government agency, while at the exact same time, another one has your organization flagged, and that just shuts down your ability to get funded. This right here is what I call the grant-killing problem. See, unlike a lot of other states, California's system is completely decentralized. The agencies literally do not talk to each other. And why? Well, because they were each set up with a totally different legal job to do. One handles corporate records, another one handles taxes, and the third one oversees charitable fundraising. So, if you remember one thing from this, let it be this. You can never, ever assume you're fully compliant just because you got a green light from one agency. You have to think of each one as its own separate silo. It's got its own rules, its own deadlines, and its own database. Being good with one tells you absolutely nothing about the other two. All right, so how do we make sense of all this? We're going to use a really simple but powerful visual metaphor that I call the California Compliance Triangle. And this little framework is going to help you see, and more importantly, remember how all these pieces are supposed to fit together. First things first, everything, and I mean everything, is built on one single federal foundation. So before you even start worrying about the state of California, your organization has to have its 501c3 tax-exempt status from the IRS. That is the bedrock. Everything else is built on top of that. Okay, but once you've got that federal foundation in place, that's when you have to deal with not one, not two, but three separate state agencies here in California. And this, my friends, is where all the complexity and, frankly, all the risk really kicks in. So think of it like a three-legged stool. If one leg is wobbly, the whole thing falls over. You've got the Secretary of State, the SOS, who handles your basic right to exist as a corporation. Then there's the Franchise Tax Board, or FTB, who manages your state tax exemption. And finally, the Attorney General, the AG, who oversees your right to even ask for money. To be truly grant-ready, you need to hit the status goal with all three: active, exempt, and current. Okay, let's break it down and meet each point of our triangle. Understanding what each agency is looking for, and let's be honest, why a funder really cares about it, that's the secret to staying way ahead of any potential headaches. First up, we've got the Secretary of State, the SOS. You can think of the SOS as the keeper of your nonprofit's birth certificate. They're the ones who confirm that you are in fact a legally recognized corporation in the state, and they give you your official SOS entity number. So when a funder checks your SOS status, they're really just trying to answer one basic question. Can I legally sign a grant contract with this organization? They are looking for that magic word, active. That one word tells them you've filed your biennial paperwork and you've got a registered agent. If you're not active, well, the conversation is pretty much over before it starts. Next on the list is the Franchise Tax Board, or FTB. Now, I know the name sounds a little intimidating, but for nonprofits, their main job is just to confirm that you're exempt from state corporate taxes. Like that annual $800 franchise tax. They usually track your organization with your federal employer identity number, your EIN. Funders are looking at your FTB status to see if you're financially responsible. And let me tell you, a suspended status is a massive red flag. To them, it says you've probably missed filing your annual Form 199, or maybe you have some unpaid penalties. It just makes them wonder if you can really manage their grant money properly. And that brings us to the final point of our triangle, the Attorney General's Registry of Charities. This agency's whole job is to protect the public's donations by making sure that the organizations asking for money are legit. When you register, they give you a unique charity trust number, or a CT number, to track you. Now this one is absolutely critical. A funder checks your AG status, and they're looking specifically for the word current next to your CT number to make sure you are legally allowed to receive their grant money. I mean, think about it. Giving money to an organization that hasn't filed its annual renewal, the RF1, creates a huge legal problem for the funder. Okay, so we've laid out the problem. And yeah, it's a little complicated, but it is 100% manageable.
So now let's switch gears from just understanding the system to actually mastering it with a super clear, actionable playbook.
And here it is. This is it. A simple 5-step routine that turns this whole messy task into a simple habit. Honestly, it'll take you maybe 15 minutes a quarter. First, you gather those ID numbers we talked about. Then you bookmark the 3 agency websites. Then you just run a quick check on all 3. After that, map out your deadlines on a calendar so nothing sneaks up on you. But the real key is that last step, repeat. Do this every quarter. This proactive habit is your absolute best defense.
So why bother with all this? Because this isn't just about dodging penalties or avoiding trouble. This is a strategic move. This simple habit changes compliance from this annoying chore into a real, powerful advantage. It makes your organization what I like to call always grant ready. And the difference is just, it's night and day. A reactive nonprofit only checks their status when a grant gets blocked. They're always scrambling in crisis mode, trying to fix a problem after they've already lost out. But a proactive nonprofit, they treat this like routine business. They operate with confidence, knowing that some surprise compliance issue is never going to be the thing that derails their incredible mission. So, when you boil it all down, it really comes to this one simple but pretty profound question. The choice between living in crisis or operating with confidence, that's up to you. And it's all determined by a simple, repeatable routine. So, which path is your organization going to choose?